Hi, Darren Hall here from Bet72.com. Well, I hope by now you've all had the opportunity to see the new revamped betting system note site. I know certainly some of our older visitors or visitors from the past will remember the first incarnation of the site, and certainly we've given it a good makeover, moved it onto a new platform, so we're ready to go now with the sort of full-on and next set of updates. So it's an exciting time anyway, but I just wanted to demonstrate one of the favourite areas of the site, and certainly one that we're getting the most feedback on, and that is the MarketMatcher area. And what the MarketMatcher does is it will take some of the preset strategies that we've got into the actual notes software. And for anybody who doesn't know, very briefly, betting system notes is just an electronic database where you can drop anything and anything and everything in fact, to actually store all your online trading notes, betting information, any little handy hints, tips, anything that might be useful when you're trading games in play, so that they're always available to you, say on another tab or another screen. You can just pull them up whenever you're trading. You've got full details about any particular strategies. Fully customizable, but also it comes with some preloaded strategies as well for football trading in play. So that's what it is in a nutshell. But certainly in terms of having the strategies, one of the things that people obviously want to do is then be able to take those strategies and match them up against particular games that are coming up. In terms of matching, what we're talking about is that the odds for the particular markets that are involved with those strategies are within a certain range, and there's enough liquidity in the game such that it makes it a possible game that you want to trade. You then take that game which gets shown on the list, for example, if you're interested in it, and perhaps then do some of your more detailed analysis or research to see if it actually fits in to a particular game that you want to trade. But if you think in terms of a very large list of games, which you may have, over a weekend, or certainly on a busy European or domestic cup night like we've got tonight, then to be able to search through those individually can take a lot of time. So this will actually cut down and just make sure that initially you're looking in the right areas in terms of the value and games which have got enough liquidity to be successful to be able to trade. So you can see here that we've got some of the preset strategies, 9 of them in fact, loaded into the software. We can also put a setting, so we can select and deselect these as we want if there's particular strategies, but we'll just pull them all up at the moment. A minimum liquidity level, so it's recommended, which is in terms of the authors of these particular strategies, what they would recommend in terms of liquidity that's available in things like the match odds, the over under 2.5 goal markets and the correct score markets, or we can just override this with a lower figure if we want to bring up a bigger list, because it may be that we're doing this before kickoff, a long way before kickoff, and gradually the liquidity is gonna come into the games afterwards. But we're here. We're about half an hour away from the games kicking off tonight, so it's a good time to go in and just see what's actually about. So we go for the recommended levels. We just hit search, and then what it will do is it will take any of these strategies and look through the card and see what applies. So we can see here we've got 6 games which have come up for tonight. Like I say, all kicking off in just about half an hour's time. And basically what it looks at is the entry points for the particular strategies. And in terms of those, whether there is the odds are within the range to make it a possible trade. And then what we would then do is then take that particular game and we would go off and analyse it in a bit more detail. I mean, the scattergun strategy is centred around both teams scoring 1-1, 2-1, 1-2 score lines. So we'd look at that in terms of statistical analysis and see if that's a possible trade. But what this is saying is that the odds which we would use for the strategy, and if we go into the software, I won't highlight the strategy here because obviously that's sort of giving it away. You get that within the software itself, but when you actually log in, it will give you the full-blown strategy, and as I say, it is centered around 1-1, 1-2 and 2-1 score lines. So that's a possible one to trade. We've obviously got other ones here. These are League Cup matches tonight, so Accrington, Burnley, Fulham, Middlesbrough, and you can see here in terms of liquidity, they're all very liquid games. We're coming up to kick off now, so these are all perfect games to trade because there's no problem at all with the amount of money that's actually in there. Because again, there's no point having these strategies or whatever, and then we try and apply them to games, and there's just no money in the market in order to actually trade. Obviously, these are pre-kickoff prices, but then when the game goes in play, then we know they're going to be liquid enough in order to be able to trade. Obviously, the Man City game is a little bit of a dead rubber in terms of the overall tie itself, but there's still an opportunity to trade within the game itself, just depending on the particular teams perhaps that get sent out. One that's been of interest to me most of today has been the Rostov against Ajax match, and that might be my particular game of choice to actually trade tonight. It's a little bit more difficult perhaps with the League Cup games, because again, teams get changed around. It's still very early in the season. Teams get changed around very, very much. Squad players and fringe players, even youngsters will get introduced into these sort of games depending how seriously the clubs are taking the competition. So a little bit, always exercise a bit of caution on some of those cup games. But certainly, if we're talking about qualification for Champions League, then if you've still got games where it's in the balance, either side could potentially qualify, then certainly that's going to be very much a serious one-off cup tie, if you like. So the Ajax game is quite appealing to me, and I may well took a look at that in a little bit more detail. As you can see here, we've gone into Thursday as well. That's going to be obviously less because the liquidity is not necessarily going to be there. I mean, if we override the figure, so that's a minimum of £500 match, then it's going to bring out some more games there for us to potentially trade, and it goes on to some games tonight as well. We could drop that figure right the way down, and we could pull up any of the games that's got anything in there, and you can see now we've got a much bigger list in order to drill down, and we're touching a variety of the different strategies within there. So that's perfect in terms of just narrowing the list down in terms of what we actually want. So we can then take that information and apply it to some of our trading. We've also got a second area, which is a custom search, and this just allows us to search based on parameters that are actually there. So for example, if you've got a strategy where you're looking to lay home teams that are odds on, for example, then we can go in and put 1.9, it ranges from 1 to 1.99 in terms of the odds, and if we put a minimum matched amount of 1 and we do a search on that over the next 24 hours, then this is going to bring up any home team who are odds on. So obviously we know City are, because we saw that before. Mönchengladbach, Sunderland. So each of these teams are a home team who are odds on. So depending on what your strategy is, you may well, that will be useful information for you. Likewise, you can liken this to anything. You might be interested in finding any games where the 2-1 scoreline to the home team is anywhere between 10 and 12. As long as we've got something matched, then we'd select that there. That'll go off and do the search within the software. And so, for example, Sunderland, there we go. So it's 10.5 to 11, which is obviously within our parameters. So again, if that's one of your strategies or one of the entry points you look for, just imagine that compared to searching through the entire Betfair card or the Betfair screen in order to drill down to that information. So very useful, perfect way in order just to cut down again on your search time and just to find out which games may well be of interest to you coming up to actually trade. So that's just MarketMatcher, a very quick overview. We're going to go into a lot more detail and show you some of the sort of advanced things that you can do with it, but this is just one of the pieces of software and the extra features in here. We've got bonus notes, which are extra videos and strategies for members. We've got a full video suite as well. And as I say, lots more coming on now. We've moved on to a newer platform, but certainly MarketMatcher is a real favourite on the old site, and it's certainly got some great feedback already. So if you want to check it out, get across bettingsystemnotes.com. Sign up today. It's just a one-off fee for life. It's not a membership system or anything. You just pay for the site. You have full access immediately, and then all the updates and everything for life. You'll be catered for. So do check it out, and if you're trading tonight, have a good trade. Okay, I'll speak to you again soon. Cheers. Bye bye.